All right, Art 1 students, here we go again. Value, we're looking at the lightness or darkness of a surface, and we're trying to see it as shapes of light and dark. For this drawing, we're going to be using a piece of black construction paper and just a regular old piece of white chalk, old chalkboard chalk. So if you don't have that at home, you could use any other color of chalk. It doesn't have to be white. Black and white just has the best level of contrast. But these are very cheap materials. If you still can't wrestle those up, you can just do this on white paper with a regular pencil. You'll be reversing it though. So this really, I'm trying to get you to see the shapes of light on this. There's a lot of darkness in this drawing, and by capturing these little shapes of light, hopefully the drawing will look like it's emerging out of the shadows. Again, I'm going to be going really fast. I'm going to try to get this one under 15 minutes. These need to take you guys probably, take 45 minutes or an hour to do these, because you have plenty of time all week to get them done. So here we go. Looking at the whole overall configuration here. Obviously this is a pretty important shape here in the middle for the nose, and that's where it lands, is right in the middle. It should be kind of a one-to-one transfer. And last time when we got acclimated to drawing with hatching and cross-hatching, we're holding the pencil back. Hold the chalk back as well if you have a long piece. If not, just hold it wherever you can. And we're doing a very rapid type of mark making here. There's not a lot of static energy. It's very full of a lot of movement. I'm not really stopping, ever moving my hand here. I'm just coloring in this shape, and this is all it is. It's just a long rectangular shape with a little roundness to the bottom of it, like those. And that's that basic shape right there. And then from the side of that, it does hook off over to the left, which makes kind of a nostril type shape. And then there's another one that shoots off this way, leaving the black of the paper right there, leaving that shadow right there. So a lot of the time I'm looking over at the drawing. I'm not really looking, or I'm looking over at the picture. I'm not looking at my drawing. I only look back at the drawing when I need to make sure that I'm putting the marks in the right place. Try just to see these as marks or as shapes of light. There's a little mark here, a little mark here, and that's where your estimation comes in of your proportional relationships, your perspective. This angles down a little bit. No, I'm not creating the illusion of space, but sighting in angles will come into play every time. So I have the basic nose shape there and a few other shapes of light. Be a good place to go from under this down to the bottom left, and that's a clear triangle right here. It's the upper lip, but we're not worried about what it is. We're just trying to capture the value. Triangular shape. And then I have a clear dark line, and then like a sideways teardrop shape. Yes, it's the lip. If it helps you to imagine and see the lip, then that's fine. Just make sure that you leave a gap right here, leave darkness, and then you can kind of outline this little teardrop shape if it helps you to outline. If the rapid drawing is not comfortable for you, you'd rather outline the shapes of light and fill them in, that's fine too. So I've got the nose, I've got this triangle shape, and then this little dot or sideways teardrop looking shape. Now underneath that we're going to have the chin emerging out here, and this looks kind of like a lima bean, kidney bean, whatever. It's a bean shape, clear bean shape here. Again, I'm trying to train my eye to see shapes of light and dark. This Not a lot of value changes in this. It's pretty much either white or black. There's a little bit of diffusing on the edges, which we'll get to. But most importantly is, where does this shape begin? Right, if I dropped a line straight down from that teardrop on the left side, that's where it begins. And then it comes over, you know, hooks under as a curved shape, and then if I drew a line straight up from this point, it runs into where the side of the nose is right there. You guys see that? I can just lay my chalk down there and show you. It might be a little bit past where the nose is, but that'll give me a general idea. So, dropping down there right below the teardrop shape, curve it under like this. If it helps you, again, to see it as a bean, it's totally fine. Whatever you need to do. And then, again, I'm imagining this going straight up. Where does that run into? Just check it. Does it run to about the same place on your drawing as it does on the picture? And then fill it in. Good enough. Right underneath that, it's almost like this was an ice cream cone or something, and that's the ice cream, and right here I got a little bit of shape underneath that just drops right on down like this. Maybe a few little marks off to the side, maybe a few little marks off to this side for the neck. Alright, while we're making some marks, look at these interesting marks over here. Don't worry about what they are. If it helps you to see them as the jaw line and the cheeks and stuff, that's fine, but don't confuse it. Just make the marks where you see them. Just lines and shapes that are a certain lightness or darkness. Make a few of those. Now we got a real important shape right here. If I was to outline it, it almost would look like a moon, like a crescent moon shape. Now it's going to be real important that you put this in the right place. If I place that moon shape down over here, he's going to have a, you know, kind of a deformity on his cheek. So how do I know where to place it? This is where your proportional relationships come in. If I was to take a measurement on the nose, you know, I can do it with my fingers like this and just turn that. I can see that this big gap of blackness, this big dark shape right here, is the same as the length of this nose. Let me use the measuring tool that I showed you. You can use with your pencil or chalk. So I'm lining up the top of the chalk with the nose there, that shape. Move my finger and thumb down to take a measurement, and then I just lay that measurement on its side like this, and you can see that that big gaping eye cavity is the same width as the height of this shape. So just do some visual comparisons so you know how far over to put it. So if I did that on here, I measure, and then I keep my fingers the same, and I know how far over to put it. I'm just going to make a mark there. Or again, I can use my chalk like this. Just take a measurement and say, alright, I'm going to set this over here and make a little mark. It shows me how far over to go with it. Now I want to make sure I get the height correct. So again, if I just laid my chalk down horizontally, you'd be able to see that the start of that moon shape is on the same level as the start of that nose shape. And while I'm visualizing, I can go ahead and check where the bottom of it is too. It's going to run right into that nostril. So I already have how far over it is. Now how high or low is it? If I have my chalk horizontal right here, I know it's going to start about right here, and it just angles down. It looks like a moon shape again. How far down? Well, again, if I kept it going, it would run right into the nostril. See? Right into the nostril. So map it out, and then just capture the shape. keep rolling along here. This looks like a an L shape right here. Kind of a fiery looking L. Where does that L begin? Well, if I could just curved around that moon and kept coming up, that's where it's going to, there's a gap, and then it just curves up like this. And then how far over does it go? Well, again, if I just continued it on down, it would run right into that nose again. So I'm visualizing, measuring these things out, and then just kind of draw that. It looks like a little flame this way, and a little flame shape this way, kind of making a letter L. Try to see it as shapes, and that shape is quite a bit lighter, so I'm going to color it in. I've almost reached my time quota, so I'm going to book right through the rest of this. You guys take your time on it. There is a distinct, probably an ear shape out here beyond this. How high and low is it? Again, just take a measurement. Bottom of it's hitting the bottom of the nostril, so somewhere out here. All I did was just do a measurement from there to there, from there to there. The top of it's running right along the bottom of that L shape. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mark some of that out there. And the right side of the man's face, same thing. We've already got these marks over here. We made a few over here that are going to be very similar to what's going on over on this side. And so I just begin to capture some of those over here on this right side. And there's a pretty important little arrow shape right here, kind of just divots right in. And I'm going to keep all the chalk going the same direction out here. And even take and kind of fade it out a little bit. And working with chalk, it's a looser medium than the graphite pencils. It'll give you kind of a blendy, blurry effect, which we're going to put over the whole thing in just a minute. It's called a diffused light look, or softened edges. Alright, now all I really need to do here, now when I go up from the L shape, I have another big bean shape. Yeah, it does open up into this whole area, but if I was to, mark this out, like if I just took a pencil here and like put a mark right here, you could see this is another bean, clear bean shape. So where is that in relation to the L? It's just to the right of it. And then that does get colored in. And if you're really perceptive, you've probably noticed that those things are going a certain way. They're going kind of left to right, rocking back and forth like this. And then I'm just going to keep that going out, because that bean does not close up like I drew with the pencil. It extends on out and becomes some crazy hair. All kinds of cool marks up here like this. Make some wild man hair. And then I do want to go ahead and close this up here back to that arrow shape. I can just kind of outline, bring some of these things down to make the eyebrow. Maybe even outline that eye socket a little bit like this. Now I realize I went really fast on that last part. You guys pause the video and take your time, piece those things together, putting those shapes in the proper place, and then come back and fill in with your chalk. And then to finish this drawing, I want you to just take your finger and lightly pull some of this chalk off of the edges. Now don't mess up your shapes, but watch what begins to happen here as I fade the edges or soften the edges. It becomes kind of a It's called diffused light. It softens the features and makes it really appear like he's emerging from the shadows. I'm not pushing down very hard. Just kind of fading those edges a little bit. Preserve the integrity of the shapes. Out here I can push down much harder because it doesn't matter what it is as much. And you can see with relative ease what capturing a few shapes of light and dark can do. For an overall picture drawing. I did that last part just for fun, and I don't really like it. I'm going to come back with an eraser and pull out some of those darker shadows. The chalk should erase pretty easily. You feel like you need to clean up some edges, reorient some shapes, by all means you should do that. And that's about it. I hope you had some fun today, and we'll see you next time.